Yo. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn show, man. Today is June. What is today? Today is December the 23rd. And didn't have enough time to go live this morning, so I wanted to break you guys off with something. 14 games slate in the NBA today. Way too much time spent, trying to find a look in every game, if I'm being completely honest, but I was not able to do so. I will share with you guys what I have. Try to make the show pretty short and efficient. So let's do just that. Yesterday, one official play for myself, which was a winner. The Charlotte Hornets plus the 10.5. We ended up getting the late line. But whatever number you got was a winner yesterday. Charlotte was able to miraculously. It wasn't like I didn't think that they would play defense that bad, but they ended up giving up close to 140 points last night. And still end up covering the spread because Cleveland didn't care about playing defense either. I felt like every three that was shot in that game from either side went in yesterday. So that was the winner. Also talked about the Pelicans. Did not play the Pelicans. Kind of got scared off when I was doing some additional research on how much the Pelicans give up as far as points in the paint goes. But so I stayed away from that. But that was another winner as well. What else? Forgot. Maybe Donovan Clingan under. I think that was a loser. He ended up hitting a couple threes, which kind of screwed that bet. But regardless, we go 1-0 yesterday, and hopefully we can replicate that today. Let's get into JaXon. JaXon went 2-0 yesterday. JaXon liked the Pelicans as well, minus the 1.5. That was a winner. Utah Denver under the 251.5, which was another winner. So I'm going right back to the same prompt today. I asked JaXon for the best total bet and the best spread bet in the NBA. JaXon likes the let's see, back to the top. OKC minus the 5.5 versus the San Antonio Spurs. It says that Thunder's statistical dominance makes the spread feel significantly undervalued. So the Thunder are not just good, they're statistically the best team in the NBA, and the numbers suggest they should be laying a much larger number than 5.5, even against a solid Spurs team. So there's elite efficiency. OKC ranks number 1 in the league in both defensive rating and potential point differential at plus 17.2. The offensive efficiency is also top tier, ranking 5th in the NBA at 118.8. The Spurs have been a pleasant surprise, ranking 8th in point differential, 5th in defensive rating. However, the gap between OKC's leading 17.2 differential and the Spurs plus 5.2 is massive, suggesting the Thunder should be able to win by double digits on a neutral court, let alone 5.5 points. So there's defensive pressure, which we know already. Like OKC is, the best defense in the NBA. The Thunder coming off a recent win against the Grizzlies, maintaining their momentum. The dominance has been consistent. And while some analysts suggest their success is priced in, a spread of 5.5 for a team with a 17.2 point differential is simply too low. So the Spurs have been stacking quality wins, which has likely kept this line tighter than it should be. However, the sheer statistical advantages OKC holds, particularly on the defensive end, should allow them to control the game, pull away comfortably in the second half. This is the spot where the number strongly outweighs the narrative of a close contest. So that's the first look here. And I'll absolutely wait on the injury report. OKC playing second leg of back-to-back. They were significantly shorthanded, even though they were able to get the job done last night. The next one is on the Washington Wizards and the Charlotte Hornets. So over 231.5 it looks like the number that JaXon is giving out here on Bet Rivers. It says that this pick is driven almost entirely by the fact that the Washington Wizards possess the worst defense in the entire league, and they play at a pace that makes their struggles even worse. So the Wizards' league worst defense, they rank 30th or dead last in nearly every major defensive metric. So defensive rating, they're 122.7, ranked 30th. Points per 100 possessions allowed, 123.9, ranked 30th. Point differential, minus 13.3, ranked 30th. High pace, despite their defense, the Warriors play at a fast clip, ranking 7th in pace. This combination of speed and inefficiency is a recipe for high totals. The Hornets' defensive struggles, Charlotte isn't much better, ranking 25th in defensive rating at 117.8, 24th in points allowed per 100 possessions at 118.8. Offensive potential, while both offenses are below average, the Hornets rank 17th in offensive rating, and the Wizards rank 27th. However, against such a porous defense, both teams should easily exceed their season averages. The Hornets in particular should thrive against the league's worst defense. So then there's some news and narratives as well. I'm not going to get into all that, but those are the two looks from JaXon today. The over between the Wizards and the Hornets, and JaXon likes the Oklahoma City Thunder minus the 5.5. Against San Antonio. Nice little revenge spot. We shall see how those go. Link is in the description if you guys are interested in checking out JaXon. Let's get into it. So breaking down this big 14-game slate. I'm not going to make graphics for every single game. I'm going to tell you guys what I have on every single game, though. If there's a game that I don't have anything on, I'll just skip it, and then I'll do a quick recap as always. So first up, we got the Brooklyn Nets and the Philadelphia 76ers. This line opened at 12 yesterday, is at least what I saw. It's down to 9.5, so money's coming in on Brooklyn. Totals come down. It opened 223.5, down to 218.5, and I agree with that. You look at the injury report real quick. Quentin Grimes is on it for the Philadelphia 76ers. Joel Embiid is probable. Dominique Barlow is also listed as questionable. And then on the Brooklyn side of things, same injury report as always. So Brooklyn has covered 3 straight for their last 5, 8-2 to the under. I agree with the total coming down. They off until Sunday after this game. Philly's actually covered 4 straight. They play in Chicago on Friday, and it's 7-3 to the under in their last 10 games as well. Philly has won and covered both matchups so far this season. So I'm looking into the game. First thing that jumps out to me is Michael Porter Jr. His points, 24.5. He did stay under in the last game, and Philly's been playing some really good defense as of late. So I didn't want to, go towards his points. I think the sneaky look in this game will be Michael Porter Jr. If Brooklyn can make some shots, Michael Porter Jr. over on his assist prop, and it's juicy. I wouldn't play a full unit on it, but over 3.5 assists for Michael Porter Jr. is like plus 130 when I looked into it last night. And this, a lot of it, is just watching the tape, looking at the numbers, and it's really just based on Philly kind of trapping off the handoff. We know Michael Porter Jr. gets a lot of his points off dribble handoffs and like catch and shoot type stuff. Philly is top 10 defending the handoff, and I think that could lead to a lot of his teammates being wide open. I also looked into it. He's been passing the ball a little bit more. He's over in 9 of his 14 games this season where he's had at least 5 potential assists. And in his last 10 games, he's averaging 7.2 potential assists. I think a lot of teams are trying to take the ball out of his hands just because he's been a flamethrower as of late. So I would expect Philly to, have that same kind of defensive, intensity in this game and defensive game plan. I would be looking at Michael Porter Jr. over his 3.5 assists if I'm betting anything in this game. Maxey doesn't get the greatest matchup. Brooklyn does limit, players from taking a bunch of threes, specifically pull-up threes. So I can't fade Maxey though. He's just a little too hot right now. I think he's hit like at least 4 threes in like 3 or 4 games in a row. So didn't want to fade him. Joel Embiid is also listed as probable. So I don't really know what to do with this one. I do think the Nets can win. I'm sorry. I do think Philly can win. I'm not sure if I want them covering by double digits. I feel like these dogs have been barking as of late, and I'm not sure how much stock Philly gonna put into this game, especially with them covering already. So slight lean, I guess, to Brooklyn plus the points. Next game up, Charlotte and Washington. So Washington has Bilal Koulibaly listed as questionable. This line was at 6.5. It's actually Washington is actually taking some money. It's down to 5.5 now. Total has come down. It opened 233.5 down to 231.5. Like Jackson said, 232 and a half out there as well. The total's kind of all over the place. So couple things to know. Koulibaly is listed as questionable for Washington. Marvin Bagley is listed as questionable. No Cam Whitmore. On the Charlotte side of things, they were without Ryan Kalkbrenner last night. He was listed as questionable. And then Mason Plumlee left the game with a groin injury, and he didn't return either. Colin Sexton didn't play last night. He was listed as doubtful. We'll see if he plays again today. And LaMelo Ball probably will sit on the second leg of a back-to-back. We'll see how that goes. So Washington, super gross team, but they have covered 4 of their last 5 games. They have the rest advantage in the spot for what it's worth, and they have revenge. Charlotte went into Washington, beat them on the second leg of a back-to-back earlier this season, smoked them, was actually getting a point and a half. And it's their first game home after a little 2-game road trip. Interesting about Charlotte, I talked about them beating Washington in the first game. They're actually 5-0 against the spread when they're playing the rest of the season, 4-1 to the under as well in this spot. So if no LaMelo, we know the game, might slow down a little bit, but I just feel like this is a gross game in general. I'm not laying 5.5 with Charlotte. I think, Washington, super gross team. Jackson just gave you guys a number, especially defensively. I wouldn't put my money on Washington either, especially right before Christmas. Like they probably checked out for this game as well. If I'm betting anything, I'm betting on Knicks. His points prop, I think, is at 20.5. The books have adjusted it up. I'm like, to me, it really doesn't matter, especially if LaMelo gets rolled out. He's averaging 22 without LaMelo this season, averaging 20 points, averaging 20 playing unrested. And now he gets a Wizards defense that we know how atrocious they are, like against the spot up, pull up, rim, like transition. However, Knicks wants to score his points, he should be able to do so. I also think that if we'll see if Trey Mann plays, if somehow we get no ball handlers for Charlotte, I think we got to go back to Bridges over his assist prop. We've been cashing that this season, and we'll see, who's out there as far as facilitator wise for Charlotte today. So that's my quick thoughts on that one. Next one up is Milwaukee and Indiana. So mine is it opened with Indiana being a 1-point dog, and I think that they currently are still a 1-point dog, 1.5 point dog. What I want to focus here though is the total. This is at 225 yesterday. It's actually come down 7 points from the opener, down to 218.5. And I think that's the best play in this game. So we look at Milwaukee. As far as the injury report goes, they are without Giannis, no Taurean Prince, of course. And then Indiana playing second leg of back-to-back, 3rd and 4th and 4th and 6th. They will potentially, we'll see what happens with TJ McConnell, who didn't play last night. Isaiah Jackson also listed as questionable. The Bucks are not great on the road, just 5-8 against the number, 3-10 against the 3-10 straight up. This is second leg of back-to-back for the Indiana Pacers, 3rd and 4th, 4th and 6th. As I said, Milwaukee also not in the greatest spot. I know this is at least back-to-back road games for them. They really struggled in their most recent games. Indiana typically covers at home. They're 9-6 against the number, 3-1 against the spread when they're playing unrested. But as far as the total goes, we've seen the Milwaukee Bucks really struggle. Both of these teams are bottom 10 in pace last 10 games. Also bottom 10 in offensive efficiency as well. Indiana is actually 4-0 to the under playing unrested this season. Those games are averaging 211 points. Milwaukee's 9-4 to the under on the road, including 6 of their last 8. We just saw them go under against the Minnesota Timberwolves in their last game. This is a game that if I'm playing, I'm staying away from the spread. I feel like both of these teams can win. The Bucks have been absolutely atrocious without Giannis, so I don't want to touch them. But I do think that both teams struggle to score the basketball. So I would bet based on pace, based on offensive efficiency and defensive efficiency, I would bet under in this game. Next one up is Toronto and Miami. So Toronto will continue to be without RJ Barrett and Jakob Poeltl. This one opened with Miami laying 3.5. It's actually moved towards Miami laying 5.5 now. Total has come down 228.5 down to 229.5 down to 228.5. So Toronto is just kind of a shell of themselves, man. Like I really don't want anything to do with Toronto. Like looking into their numbers, it's just not been great at all. They are playing their third game in 4 nights, coming off a loss to the Brooklyn Nets, of course, and this is also 4th and 6th for Toronto as well. Their last 10 games, they're 3-7 straight up, 2-8 against the number, 7-3 to the under. Offense is just really falling off a cliff. Looks like 5 straight unders. So the under makes a lot of sense in this game. Miami's offense has not been much better either. They did score 125 points, but couldn't stop the New York Knicks in their last game. So first game home for them after a 3-game road trip. They failed to cover their last 6 games in a row. The way I want to play the game though is Miami. I want to play Miami. I don't want to play them full game. They've not been great full game, but they do come out and they get a lead early. We saw this in the Boston game. We saw it in the New York Knicks game. These were their last 2 games. We saw it in both of those games. I think they covered the first half against the Brooklyn Nets as well. And they got, double-digit in-season revenge. They just lost to Toronto at home by 10. So that part makes a lot of sense, and the under makes a lot of sense. So Miami first half -2.5. They're 6-3-1 against the spread in the first half. Toronto's 2-8 against the spread in the first half in their last 10. To me, they're just missing too many pieces when you don't have Jakob Poeltl because it's not enough bigs. I think in the game that Toronto was able to go into Miami and win, they did have Jakob Poeltl. He gave them 29 minutes, finished with 8 points and 8 rebounds, 2 assists. And now without Jakob Poeltl, I don't want to bet on Toronto at all. I feel like they're a falling knife that I do not want to catch. So that's my thought process there. Miami first half -2.5, and then the look towards the under. Next game up, New Orleans and Cleveland. So we start with the injury report on both of these teams, of course, played yesterday. So you kind of got to wait. In my personal opinion, you want to wait to see who's going to actually be out there. Wouldn't surprise me if some of these players rested. I'm not expecting Zion to play on the second leg of a back-to-back, even though he's been coming off the bench. Herb Jones left the game yesterday, didn't return with an ankle injury. Got to take that into consideration. Darius Garland did come out and say he plans to play, but they'll still be without Evan Mobley. Larry Nance will be out. Probably Lonzo won't play on the second leg of a back-to-back. We'll just kind of see how that goes. So for New Orleans, it's 4th and 6 with travel. A hard-fought comeback win last night against the Dallas Mavericks after being down by double digits to start the fourth quarter. They put up 40 points in the fourth quarter to keep their winning streak alive. I think they're 10-0 against the number in their last 10. Cleveland got a big win last night. Needed that win after losing 3 straight games. They still didn't cover, though. And when I was looking deeper into the game, this could be a spot where the Pels run out of gas because it is 4th and 6 with travel. But Cleveland has been playing their fair amount of games as well. They got a Christmas Day game coming up. And the Pelicans will get the rest and chill kind of after this game, man. I can't lay points with Cleveland. The line is moving in their favor. I know how good offensively they are. I see it up to 10. I would be snatching the points with the New Orleans Pelicans in this spot if I'm playing the game. I looked at the Pels. They're 7-5 against the spread as a road dog. 4 of their last 5 games they've actually covered as road dogs. As road dogs with no rest. They're 2-0 against the spread as well, which will be the situation today. The Cavs are still 4-13 against the spread at home as a favorite. They're winning by average of 2 points per game. They failed to cover 4 in a row in this spot, and 6 of their last 7 as home favorites. So by default, it'd be Pelicans plus the points. But if you wait for Zion to get rolled out, potentially potentially Herb Jones to get rolled in or rolled out, we'll see how that goes. Probably rolled out, though, is what my thought process would be. You can get a much better number with the Pelicans. I'm just not laying with the Cavs right now. Until further notice, off the Cavaliers, man. All right, so that's that game. Real quick, if you are somebody that likes the stream and you have not done so, do me a favor, hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of the videos when I do drop them. Typically, I go live. Don't have time to go live today. It's way too many games. I got way too many last-minute things to do. But if you appreciate the information, if you find it helpful at all, do me a favor, real quick. Boop, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you are not. And I appreciate it. No one is absolutely appreciated. And let's jump back into it. So more, of the 14-game breakdown. And a brother feels just like you see the guy on the screen. I'm exhausted looking at all these games last night. So let's keep going. Next one up, we got Chicago Bulls and Atlanta Hawks. Line open 4. It's up to 4.5 in favor of the Atlanta Hawks on most books. Total open 251.5 is up to 252. I think we saw 300 points scored in the last game between these two teams. So, Chris, do we go back to the over? I don't see why not. There's no reason for me not to go back to the over. So I'm thinking about the game, right? You got a Chicago team, and I'm going to be quick with this one. Dyson Daniels is out for this game, which probably means a few more minutes for Nickeil Alexander-Walker and Zachary Ristiche. Chicago doesn't have anybody on the injury report. We cast on Chicago plus the 5 in the last game. I gave it out on Sunday live on the show. And I'm not sure why I wouldn't go right back to it in this game. We like I said, we just saw 300 points score. Atlanta will be now without their best perimeter defensive player in Dyson Daniels. Not that Nickeil Alexander-Walker is a bad defender, because he's actually pretty good as well. But Atlanta just plays at such a fast pace. So you subtract Dyson Daniels, you add Trae Young to probably play a few more minutes, because this will be his 3rd game back. Why would I want to bet Chicago? Why would I want to bet Atlanta in this spot? It'd be Chicago again for me. They just covered. They're 6-2 against the spread as road dogs this season. Atlanta playing their 4th game in 6 nights. I can't lay points with them if they can't get stops, and we know that Atlanta can't get stopped. Chicago's 3-2 against the number, and 2-3 actually straight up. So they've won 2 of the 5 games when they facing the team that they've already beaten this season. We saw them just beat Cleveland 2 games in a row in Cleveland. And Chicago's actually a perfect 5-0 to the over when they're playing against a team they've already beaten as well. So by default, it'd be Chicago plus the points in this game. Atlanta's now 5-10 as a favorite this season, and a perfect or imperfect 0-6 as a home favorite. If Atlanta is laying points so far this season, I've not covered any number, and they won't get any of my money either in this game. All right, that's that one. Let's see, Denver and Dallas. I don't really have anything in that game. Both teams playing second leg of back-to-back. Denver has a Christmas Day game coming up, of course, against Minnesota, and Dallas will be off until I think they play again like on Saturday. So Denver, second leg of back-to-back, 3rd and 4th and 6th with travel to Dallas. Although last night was not super taxing, they scored 135 on the Jazz pretty easily. And in Dallas, second leg of back-to-back, third and fourth and sixth as well. And they lost last night. So I guess, the default for me is, does Anthony Davis play on the second leg of a back-to-back? I'm not sure. We know Denver will be, still shorthanded without Christian Brown and Aaron Gordon. Also, Brandon Williams left with an ankle injury last night, but he did return. I guess I have no idea what to do with this game. I don't feel like I want to lay this many points with Denver on the second leg of a back-to-back. So I guess by default it'd be Dallas, plus especially with them coming off a couple, losses in a row. They've been a lot better at home than they've been on the road, but I would need Anthony Davis in because Denver's offenses, it really can steamroll you. So by default it'd be Denver, Dallas plus the 7.5, but I would want everybody to be in. We also got to keep in mind that Cooper Flagg was listed as questionable for that game yesterday, so we'll see if he plays. But it'd be Dallas plus the points for me in this one. All right, next one up, New York and Minnesota. So Minnesota opened 2-point favorites. They're now up to 4.5-point favorites. The total has gone up from 230 up to 237.5. And big injury news in this game that I don't really enjoy. OG Anunoby is out. No Jalen Brunson, Miles McBride, Landry Shamet, and Gershon Yabusele all remain out. Well, not remain out, but they're out for the New York Knicks. Jaden McDaniels is listed as questionable on the Minnesota side of things. For New York, it is 4th and 6, injury management. They're resting their players. They do have the Christmas Day game coming up against the Cavs. So they rested their, a couple of their starters in this game. You still got Tyler Kolek and Josh Hart and Miles, Bridges, Dewar and Karl Anthony Towns, Mitchell Robinson. I still kind of feel like the Knicks, I don't want to lay points for Minnesota. That's what it really comes down to. Minnesota Timberwolves laying points at home has been such a bad bet, man. You probably have given up on sports betting if you've taken the Timberwolves with them laying points. This was a team that, was struggling. They didn't even have a lead at halftime against the Milwaukee Bucks without Giannis in their last game. They're 5-8 against the number if they're laying points at home. And it's way worse in the first half. So I'll probably be looking towards the Knicks early in this game. They typically get outscored in the first half, and then they wake up in the third quarter. Whole teams to about 49 points in the second half, but they typically give up close to 60 in the first half. So New York Knicks plus the points in the first half would probably be the way that I would look. I still think they have enough in this game. Of course, you got the, Karl Anthony Towns going back to Minnesota, Julius Randle playing against his old team. Same thing for Dante DiVincenzo. But yeah, I know the Knicks are missing a lot. Timberwolves can't get my money though. That's just the way I look at it. OKC San Antonio. I don't really have anything on this one. Got to wait on the status of all the injury players for OKC. Yesterday they were without a true center at all. They didn't have Isaiah Hartenstein or Chet Holmgren or Jalen or the big Jalen Williams or Caruso. Maybe they were saving them for this game. I have no idea. But the Spurs also have Victor Wembanyama listed as questionable. But OKC, not only is it a second of a back-to-back, it's also 4th game in 6 nights as well. So that's something to take into consideration. It is a big revenge game for them. We talked about that already. The Thunder, I know for sure this season, have not played well on the second leg of back-to-backs. They're just 1-3 against the number. We saw the San Antonio team play really, really well against them. The Spurs, maybe in a look-ahead spot. They didn't cover in their last game. When they were playing in DC, they were laying a big number on the road, did not cover that spot, but they have played really, really well. Outside of losing to the Knicks, they won 6 in a row. They won 7 of their last, 8 of their last 10. I don't know. You got to wait on Wemby, in my opinion, in this game. The other thing to take into consideration is these teams also play on Christmas. And that game will be in OKC. So maybe Spurs today, OKC in the next one. I'm not sure. But and maybe Mitch Johnson, the coach of the Spurs, is saving Wemby for the Christmas Day game. I'm not sure. But so I don't really have too much in that game. Like I said, I think you got to kind of wait, monitor the injury report. Another game I don't really have too much for is the Memphis, Utah game. So the Grizzlies will be in Utah. Both teams, of course, on the second leg of a back-to-back. I think you do have to wait on the injury report for this game as well. We got to remember Lauri Markkanen was listed as questionable, even though he ended up playing yesterday. On the Memphis side of things, severely shorthanded. John Morant, we'll see if he plays. Probably not, in my opinion. No Zach Edey, John Conchar, Ty Jerome, Scottie Pippen Jr., Vince Williams, Brandon Clark was ruled out yesterday. I don't really want to lay points for Memphis on the road. I know that they fought hard yesterday, but now second leg of back-to-back, I feel like the travel will be worse for them. Second leg of back-to-back, 3rd and 4, because you're going into altitude, where the Utah Jazz, second leg of back-to-back, 3rd and 4, 4th and 6, but they are actually used to playing at altitude. And don't get it twisted. Utah is god awful. We know they can't stop anybody from doing anything. But I just kind of feel like I need to know who's playing for Memphis. Utah has been historically this season. They've been really, really good in the first half. So maybe a look towards them early before they run out of gas. Like I don't really know what to do with that game. Next one up, Lakers and the Suns. So this line was at 2. The Lakers was actually laying 2 points, and now we've seen a flip of favorites. The Lakers are now getting 5.5, 6 points. Total has actually come down. It was open 243.5 is what I saw. It came all the way down to 223.5. Now it's coming all the way back up to 226. At least that's what I saw. So Austin Reed, and a large part of it is the injury report. So Austin Reed is questionable. I think he's day to day. DeAndre Ayton is off the injury report. Luka is listed as out. That was the big move for the spread in this game. Rui Hachimura and Gabe Vincent also remain out. So the Lakers will be shorthanded. We just saw them lose to the Clippers. They do have a Christmas Day game coming up against the Houston Rockets. And the Phoenix Suns will be off after this game. Also looking for some quick revenge after the Lakers. No. They're not looking for quick revenge. They beat the Lakers in that last game. No, the Lakers beat them. Yeah, so looking for some quick revenge. Phoenix has been, I don't know, they've taken a step back specifically at home, and it feels like in their last few games. So not 100% sure what to do with Phoenix in this spot. Like, it's not a spot where I really want to back them at. The Lakers have pretty much been good on the road, but without Luka, it's a different story, especially if Austin Reeves doesn't play. They are 11-5 against the spread on the road, but Phoenix is 9-4-1 against the spread when they're playing home games. And even though they've lost 2 of their last 3, I kind of feel like, they probably got this one circled. They also coming off a loss against the Golden State Warriors. I think I'd be looking towards. I honestly don't know what I do with this game, so that's the easy one. I'm gonna skip that one. Both teams coming off a little bit of rest, but no Luka, no Lakers for me. I would want him in for what he does for the offense, and potentially without Austin Reeves, I don't want him. I think you just getting the worst of the number, and I didn't bet the game. Orlando, Portland, interesting one. Orlando is they opened as 3-point favorites, is now down to 2. I do agree with that. Portland suffered their first ATS loss at home, so now they're 7-1 against the number playing in Portland this season. Both teams on the second leg of back-to-back, but Orlando has to travel from Golden State, and Portland they got to go home last night, sleep in their own bed. Jalen Suggs also was listed as out in that game last night. We'll see what happens with him and Tristan Da Silva. So we'll see what happens with those guys. Jeremy Grant missed the game last night. He's probably going to be listed as questionable for today. Probably no Drew Holiday or Scoot Henderson. Mo and Franz continue to be out. The injury report is kind of crazy. So for Orlando, it's a terrible spot. I was hoping they beat the Warriors last night, so I could definitely fade them in this spot. But I like Portland again. I think Portland, if Jeremy Grant plays, because I do need the offense out there. We saw how bad their offense was without him last night. I think they were 0 for 7 in the first quarter from the 3-point line. I just don't like the spot for Orlando, though. A second leg of back-to-back, 3rd and 4th, 4th and 6th. All these games have been on the road since the Cup. I think Portland at home as a dog will be feisty again. We also got to remember the first time these teams played in Orlando, Desmond Bane hit that game-winning shot. I was on Portland plus the points. It was a terrible spot for Orlando, but Orlando was able to, hit the game winner. Desmond Bane hit that game winner. So not the greatest spot for Portland. It is second leg of back-to-back, 3rd and 4th, 4th and 6th. They are 4-0 against the spread when they're playing the rest of the season. I would be looking at the Portland Trailblazers in this game. Orlando is just not right now they're trying to figure out life without Mo. And I don't think you get a lot of time just to get on the plane and fly to Portland, try to get some sleep, and then wake up and you got to play against a Portland team that just lost last night as well. So I would be looking at Portland in that game. Detroit and Sacramento. Ron Holland didn't play last night, so this line opened at 9 yesterday. It's down to 8.5. A little bit of money coming in on the Sacramento Kings. Ron Holland didn't play last night. We'll see if he plays. On the Sacramento Kings side of things, they still be without Zach LaVine and Sabonis. We saw Sacramento, win the game outright. They are coming off the overtime win against the Houston Rockets, of course. If I'm playing this game, though, man, I watched, Cade Cunningham get, threw the ball to the back of the stanchion or, back of the backboard, whatever you want to call it. He was extremely frustrated. He only played 24 minutes last night, 24, 26 minutes, something like that. Ended up fouling out of the game. They did end up winning. Detroit did end up winning. This is like a humongous matchup differential in this game. So there's a couple of ways that I was looking into this game. First off, I think you got to look at Jalen Duren. 27.5 is his points plus rebounds. He's had back-to-back games where he had 19 plus points, and we know the Sacramento Kings are bottom 5 rebounding team as well. So over the 17.5 points for Jalen Duren and 54% of his games so far this season. He gets about 3/4 of his points, about 75% of them in the restricted area. Kings are bottom 10 defense and defending the restricted area. And the thing about Jalen Duren, he also only played 24 minutes last night. So that was the first look I had. I think Cade Cunningham could get 10 assists against the Detroit Pistons as well. They typically trap ball handlers. That's the way they like to play defense. And then the other thing I would look at is Detroit team total. The Kings do play a little. They can play slow, but if the Kings want to play fast, which they have had some fast-paced games as well, Detroit, I think, will welcome that in this game. I think Detroit will be able to dominate. I just think about like the advantages that Detroit have as far as like being able to get to the paint. When you have, guys like, Asur. We just saw what Amin did. We cashed him in over his rebounds and assists. But Asur Thompson, Cade Cunningham, I just feel like they have enough offense in this game on the second leg of a back-to-back. They're 2-0 to the over and to their team total over when they're playing unrested on the road this season. Detroit is. And I feel like the totals come down in this game from 231.5 down to 227, indicating that we might see a slow pace. I actually think that it might go the opposite way. I think Detroit can get to 120. Their team total is 118.5. Kings are not a good defense, and I think this is a severely bad matchup for the Kings in this spot. Cade should live in the paint, kicking out to the three-point shooters. Duncan Robinson, Tobias Harris, Jalen Duren should be dunking on everybody. Yeah, so I think Detroit team total over in that game was the best look, and Jalen Duren over his points plus rebounds. Last but not least, Houston and the Clippers. Line open 5.5 is up to 7.5 now. This is I think a nice little bounce back spot for Houston. The Clippers have been playing a little bit better as of late. They still will be without Derrick Jones Jr. And Zubac, in my opinion, is humongous, especially when you're thinking about a Houston Rocket team that should be able to dominate on the boards. Houston dominates everybody on the boards. When these two teams played earlier this season, I took a live bet on Houston second half minus the 3.5, and they end up winning the game by 2. Super frustrating. It's not the greatest spot for them. It is 3rd and 4, 4th and 6. They're coming off the overtime loss to the Kings. But when I was looking into, the Houston Rockets this season, when they're coming off a loss, they've been pretty good. So they are 6-2 straight up, 5-3 against the number. They're winning by about 11 points per game. And if they're on the road, they're 3-1 straight up, 3-1 against the number, and they're winning by about 9.5 points per game. So I think it's a nice little bounce back spot for him. After the game, Ime Udoka said he has to figure out how to get his teams to step up against terrible defense, against teams that are lesser than pretty much what he said, the bad teams. So I think we see them come out, steamroll this Clippers team that's only 7-21. The Clippers have been playing a little bit better. Don't get it twisted, but I think the Houston Rockets can win this game. They're 10-6 against the number, at home on the road this season. They got the big Christmas Day game coming up, so they don't have to, travel a lot. They do got the Lakers on deck. They haven't covered a lot of their last games. They're only 1-4 against the spread, but something tells me they can get the job done here against this Clippers team that has covered 3 of their last 5, 7-3 to the under in their last 10. Yeah, something tells me the Rockets win this game by double digits today. That's what I think happened. So that's my thought process on this one, but I did not bet that either. So getting into a quick recap out of the things that we talked about. MPJ, 4.5 assists. Let me just double check the number. I think it was 4.5 assists. I thought for some reason that seems off now. Maybe it was 3.5 assists. Maybe I'm tripping. Let's just double check it real quick. And I'm gonna tell you guys where you can get the best number at based on the time of the show. So assists. Three and a half assists. That is a typo. I was like, I don't think it's 4.5. Michael Porter Jr. of the Brooklyn Nets over his 3.5 assists. Con Knuppel to get 21 points today. Milwaukee, Indiana under the 218. Miami first half. New Orleans plus the 10. I will wait on that to see if Zion gets rolled out, you will get a better number. Chicago plus the 4.5 by default, and I didn't add Detroit team total over 118.5. I think they should be able to score as many points as they want to against the Sacramento Kings tonight. So these are the strongest plays for myself. Wait on the injury report, in my personal opinion. There's a lot that could change. So that's the way I'm looking at the games, though, man. Appreciate everybody for tapping in as always. Links for all the resources that I use to handicap the game are linked in the description. Check out JaXon, Moneyballer. Check out Outlier and Odds Jam. All of those are listed in the description, man. Probably won't go live on. I'm definitely not going live on Christmas, but I will have a video up for you guys breaking down the Christmas Day games. So another reason to make sure you guys are subscribed and have the notifications, bell turned on. And do me a favor and like the video if you don't mind as well. Share it too. Put it in the group chat, man. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Enjoy your Tuesday, man. I'm out.